I believe that the majority of people are in a deep sleep, in a hypnotic state, and they're not awake and present, and they don't know who they are. They don't know what the purpose of this life is, and I'm not sure any of us truly do, but I know for sure that I have some obligations and things that are deeply feel inspired and called to do. So
Hello and welcome to Holistic Circle Podcast, Spiritual Conversation. My name is Philipp Kobald. We are reaching out to people who are passionate about spreading light, love and joy. And today I have Jon Otorhongo. Hello, Jon.
Philip, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I would like just say to our viewers that this podcast is all about you. And on my website, there's a forum where you can ask questions. You can tell me which guests you would like me to invite, certain questions that are on your mind, and I'll be asking them for you. I invite the guests that you want me to invite, and I'll ask the things that you want me to ask. So this is your hour, your time. I'm just sitting here and doing the job for you. And as a little secret, if you're good and you hang in there with us, the full hour at the end, Jon is going to play a bit of music for us, but this is only for the good kids who've been with us the whole time. So, Jon, I forgot to ask you where you're from, and please, if you'd be so kind, take a couple minutes. And I know it's very difficult to introduce all of the things that you are doing, but just tell us half of the things that you are doing.
So I'm in sunny San Diego and Southern California out here. And as far as me and my personal brand that I'm still building, actually, it's in the embryonic stages. But as for what I do, I ended up shifting and expanding out of the field of psychotherapy because of so many limitations that I felt as a therapist. So I decided to make a very bold and daring jump and create a personal brand that encompasses all of me and my passions and my spirituality as well. I feel that it was just a move that I had to make in order to encompass all of my talents and gifts and passions. So that includes right now helping people who want to embark on the entrepreneurial journey, but they struggle with fear, self-doubt, and imposter syndrome. And they really want to fulfill their life's mission, their life's purpose, and become of service to people, but for whatever reason, they're battling some kind of doubt or inner critic that blocks them from fully stepping into what they want to create. I'm also a musician, and well, as you mentioned, I'll be sharing a little bit of music at the end here. And my music is really inspired by life, by spirit, by life experience, and it comes from the heart, and it is designed to help uplift and inspire and heal the planet. So my mission is ultimately of healing and connection, community, and that is my purpose, to help us come together and heal through music, community, connection, and spirituality.
Thank you so much for giving us only half of the things that you're doing, so we have some time left on the podcast. It's always so wonderful meeting people who are so multiverse and have explored so many things and have so many layers to give. So that's always a pleasure because there's so much to talk about. And I know you moved on, but before we go to all the exciting things, it's always good to a little bit recap. You said that you felt the limitations of being a therapist, and can you take us a couple of minutes into these limitations or your streams of thought, or what kind of therapy did you used to do? Just a bit to understand the background that made you say, no, I'm going bigger, I'm going further.
So even preceding that, I would share that I had a really I had multiple life-changing experiences with psychedelic plant medicines in a ceremonial containers, not recreationally, but done with really deep intention and led by indigenous elders in the way that they were meant to be done and have been done forever. And that really inspired me to become a therapist because I heard of the rise of psychedelic assisted psychotherapy. So this led me to pursue ketamine therapy, and I was practicing ketamine assisted psychotherapy, which helps people really get past the blocks that they have in their mind. Through talk therapy, a lot of people have so many barriers and barricades that they bring up, and they can't work through them in talk therapy when they're quote unquote sober. So these medicines, psychedelic medicines, allow the brain to kind of soften a little bit and open up so people can really access and go deeper into the heart, into the subconscious mind. But what ended up happening was that as a therapist, practicing therapist, it's just a really like formal profession. And by the limitations, what I mean by that is there's a lot of government control. So therapists can only work in the state that they live in. So for example, I could not work with any divine clients, as what we call them, when there's someone they feel like it's destiny for you to work with them. If for whatever reason they live 200 miles in the other direction, there's laws that control and restrict who I can work with, when I can work. So that was one of the things. On top of that, like I mentioned, I have a really deep passion for ceremonies and the underground and the legalities and stuff like that. Like I've always just been more of a counterculture and rebellious in my own ways and my upbringing. And the field of psychotherapy, I feel I couldn't personally express myself spiritually. I know that might have just been my own perceptions and stuff like that, but in the field, I felt that I could be more uniquely myself if I ended up just branching and leaving and having no restrictions and no longer doing psychotherapy, but shifting into more mentorship to help people and coach them through what they're experiencing and what's blocking and limiting them from creating the business that they want to create.
I knew this is going to be a hell of a conversation. I felt it the whole day, and now it's happening. I think you have to come back very soon and just talk your experience specifically, because I'm trying for months to get a couple of therapists who worked with these ketamine and so on, who really worked with it for some time, because interesting enough, I never had a podcast on this expertise, but that's not why we're here today. But I hope you might come back and help me out there and give me a bit of a picture for all those people interested in the subject. And again, it's not today's podcast. I'm so sorry, but I also have to say the sentence, well, all you have to become is an AI robot and you can therapy anyone in the world. And apparently there are no restrictions.
Heard of this. Yeah.
Sorry, it's just I'm just totally into the subject these days about legality of all of that. And as you just really so nicely explained, the restrictions and how tough they are, and then you can ask a computer any kind of therapeutic question, and it's just So, but that's not why we're here. I'm so sorry. I'm hijacking, but it's on my mind. You're a therapist. I must a little bit express my feelings.
It's your space, man. It's your space.
No, it's your space. That's why it's wrong. Okay. I'm also smiling because I have so many people on my podcast who are starting out as therapists or in the process of finalizing their education, and so much want to have the recognition of authority, so much want to have the title therapist, and they're so proud that they establish themselves, and it's a hell of a thing. And then talking to someone like you brings me totally off the rail, because you already want to break free and want to go above and want to go beyond. And you're ready, people are so desperate to get there, and you already feel the limitation and want to grow above. And it's just saying a lot about you and what we can expect from you. And I'm also very keen, if you give me a minute of your time, you said, I want to establish myself as a brand. Can we philosophize about that for a couple of minutes before we go really into your work and the stuff why we're here? Can we just take a minute of reflection? What it mean our days to be a brand? How would you see this? Is it a spiritual process of becoming you? It's like an old Buddhist kind of a thing. The more I become myself, the more I shine. Or is this still in the old school, strategic placement? And give me a minute of your thinking about that thing that you want out of yourself to accomplish?
Well, I think it's all so, creating a personal brand, while it's a business in its own way, it's also this revolutionary act to rebel from the mainstream corporate jobs, and you actually make yourself as a spiritual being with infinite potential and talent and creativity, and you start to create ways that you can market yourself and your talents and your offerings and still generate income. But to me, it's not like an egoic way where I want to step on the backs of other people to succeed. To me, my mission is a life of service, and using my past experience, through my difficulties and past struggles, overcoming those, and then developing a deep connection to my heart and a deep connection to spirit and my gifts, and utilizing those to be of service. And I become the brand, not in the egoic way, but at the heart of it, me and my talents become the brand. And that is something that we can leverage to our abilities to generate income and live a incredible life. So yeah, it's a rebellious thing to do in a way, but it's the way of the warrior, in my opinion. And it's exciting.
The reason I ask because there's some conflicting thoughts that I heard. You talked about creating community right before with your self-introduction, and then you create making a brand out of yourself. So and I can feel so much positive and loving energy around you. If I say it myself, I'm not psychic, but you just can see that you are glowing all over the place. So where do you see this momentum between being a brand, being magnetic, the warrior you even mentioned, and I think it's a good term anyway. So having this magnetism, this like I have so much to give and I'm full of love, and then the idea of yes, but we need community. Where do you see this?
Good question. So what I see is that through this position of leadership, we can call in community. We need someone to bring the community together. And as long as the leader is in check with themselves and they're not coming from an egoic place of exploitation and trying to do that, then if leaders are humble and in tune with their heart and their mission of service, then we can use that personal brand, or for example, myself or whoever does it, that brings people together and says, this is a collective thing. So what I steward in my brand is bigger than me. It's not about me being the one. This is a mission of service from the divine that I feel called to steward and bring into this existence. So at the end of the day, it's not even about me. It's about something bigger.
That is wonderful, and we all lack those kind of leaders in our time. I think that this is a very sort of model. We're all looking for humble leaders, right?
I think so. So that's the invitation to anyone out there to, step up and step in, because we need more people that can, step into that humble, loving leadership role. And there's so many people out there that are capable of doing that. So I'm calling you guys forward, because calling myself out as well.
You said the divine message, and I think you're the person who can formulate it. Said the divine message. Is this a concrete message, or is it just a message of love and feeling and spirit? What is that message that you're trying to spread?
So, well, the first thing, as you were explaining it, is something that you just know within your heart that you have to do. It's like, what is it that spoke to you about creating a podcast? I'm sure it was something that you felt inside of you, that this is something I have to do to start, bringing people together, to start spreading beautiful messages out into the world. So it's something you just know within yourself that has to be done.
That's amazing, and you have so many ways to go. All right, we have now a background of, and everybody can feel you. I can feel you clearly, so I'm sure our audience can feel the energy coming within. But now, would you like to start with the conversation talking about you're doing many things, but this corporate, is that what you want to start? Can we start there and then move forward? Is that a good way, you think, to start this conversation? Because you're trying to help people You said imposter syndrome. Now, where does this fit in?
Well, I think, there's a motivational speaker, his name's Les Brown, and he says that the richest place in the world is the graveyard. So it's not Wall Street, it's not any mine in Africa, it's the graveyard, because that's where so many dreams are buried. How many unwritten books, unwritten songs get buried in the graveyard because people's dreams never come to life. They never, for whatever reason, they don't have either the resources or the courage to step up and really pursue what their heart is yearning for. So I think it comes down to a lot of the time, most of the time, things that happen in people's childhoods that created some kind of self-doubt, that they didn't have the right nurturing from their parents, the right emotional climate in their home that allowed them to develop the confidence within themselves to be fearless and go after whatever they wanted to create. There's also a lot of societal conditioning that conditions us to follow a certain path, to go to school, then you get a job in the corporate workforce, and then you retire, however many decades later. So back to your question is that I believe that things happen in people's life experiences that led them to not believe in themselves fully. Maybe they were criticized by somebody. So when it comes down to something that they love dearly and they want to put it out into the world, they doubt themselves or they feel like an imposter. They might have all the talent, they might have the master's degree, the PhD, and people can still feel like an imposter with all the things that they've accomplished. So to me, it's not an external thing of all the accolades and achievements that we've achieved, but it's more so the internal state that makes and creates someone to feel like an imposter or doubt themselves fully. So that is why I feel one of my offerings now is to help people overcome this so that we can create more businesses that are aligned with our spiritual mission and with our hearts, so that we can create massive impact in this way. So the imposter syndrome, that is one of the things, and one of the focuses of mine is helping people overcome that. And I think once that can be done, then there's no limit to what people can achieve.
Absolutely. So I think you already explained that your clients, the people you're working with, I guess it's one-on-one, I guess it's online, it's live, or you're insisting of being live in a room, or you like to do it online. Do you have preferences for that? You work in groups, or you like to work individually? I know there's a lot of philosophy behind that usually.
Yeah, so I do work with one-on-one online. It's all online for me right now, and next month I'm releasing a self-paced course that people can go through, and they can do that on their own. It's going to have a lot of resources for them to work through these blocks. But I'm also, in conjunction to that, people have the opportunity to upgrade into my online community, where I'll have live weekly calls where we can meet and come together and with other heart-centered founders who want to work through whatever is coming up for them and keep that accountability, keep that consistency and that momentum and the support of community, because we know that that's just essential to human nature, is to have one another. We're relational beings, and we need one another to survive. It's just, there's no doubt about that. So there's that option as well that I encourage people to step into and sign up for, because it's going to be a very powerful way to come together as a unified frequency and energy and get that support from other powerful, heartfelt, heart-centered leaders.
So those people that you mainly work with at the moment, they're, you would say, at the beginning of things, they're in the middle of things and looking for the next step, or they already come very far and want to go really to the end. Where on that stage is the majority of your clients?
In the entry level for sure. Some people that are still even working their 9-to-5 job, and this is the majority of them. They're working a job that pays the bills, but something inside of them is like, no, I want to create something that's more in alignment with my heart. Just like with me, like the practice of psychotherapy, I think it's a beautiful profession, by the way, no offense to any therapist, but for me, it just wasn't something that was fully and truly aligned. So they feel something within themselves that screams at them and says, no, like this is your mission of service to help people with whatever it may be. So to answer your question, it's in the entry level.
You said your mission of service again. So we're spinning around and around this spiritual element that you very strongly see that there are people out there with a mission, with a heart is crying out, and for some whatever reasons they just do not fulfill their mission potential. What are the wording that you would use?
What other wording?
What
I
wording
think,
would you use?
yeah, what I would say their calling. It's like a deep call that you feel, and it's from like sometimes there's no real words. It's more like a feeling.
I think it's so interesting because there are so many people who are hoping, and I guess you're among those people who hope that there will be a change in universal consciousness, that the earth desperately needs some kind of a revival and kind of renewed spiritual upbringing. There's so many conversations I have spin around the idea that we need to, either in schools or wherever we go, we need to establish this new spiritual dimension. So you see yourself as part of this group of people who said, this world needs a new spiritual uprising, and I do my bit helping others who have it sleeping inside of themselves to get it out.
100%. I believe that the majority of people are in a deep sleep, in a hypnotic state, and they're not awake and present, and they don't know who they are. They don't know what the purpose of this life is, and I'm not sure any of us truly do, but I know for sure that I have some obligations and things that are deeply feel inspired and called to do. So yeah, awaken to the things that have sedated us, let's say.
Right. You want to talk about this, or it goes too deep and it's not your thing, or you want to a little bit tell people why they're sleeping, or what?
Sure. Yeah. I think there's a lot of conditioning, and I think we've been so far removed from nature, where we're connected to the divinity, to the elements of life and this planet and the universe. You look at how indigenous cultures would relate to the earth, to one another, to this universe, to this experience. And now we're so disconnected. And I feel like that's a huge thing that could help people too, is reconnect back to our ancestry, the roots, the earth, putting our, honoring this earth on our hands and knees, truly, and being in deep reverence to this sacredness of this life. So I think that there's been decades and decades of generational trauma that has been passed on and on and on. And that has created an immense separation from who we are intrinsically at our core. And I think humans are collaborative in nature. We're connecting, we're loving. But when we experience so much pain and suffering, we end up getting trapped into the mind, and we create dissonance and violence and greed and ego. So I think that has led to widespread disconnection from who we truly are. So the essence of awakening is coming back to who we truly are. And usually that happens by some type of spiritual awakening or some psychedelic plant medicine journey that awakens people and goes, what am I doing? I'm living a completely different life that I should be. So it leads them to make a lot of changes.
Thank you so much, because you're speaking from my heart. So here you go. But then I would like to ask you now a bit more of a specific question, because you worked with people and you connected, helped them reconnect, you helped them to find their calling. As you said, I've sometimes seen in my personal observation that once people start to speak out to their calling and start to do the right thing, that the world not always welcomes them with open arm. What do you think about these these all these blockages around family, friends, and all of it. How do you see it, and have you found ways to help people to prepare them for that, what might be coming, and how to overcome them? Spill some beans for us.
Yeah, like I was mentioning earlier, this is the path of the warrior for the people who are ready to really break through some really challenging things. And yes, you're going to face off with friends, with family, society, with the deepest doubts in your mind if you want to go after something that is more spiritual in nature and try to make a living off of it. You're going to be challenged to your core. So you better start getting your reps in as far as, yeah, this is going to be tough. However, it's not impossible. How many artists have paved the way, and how many people are living their truest, deepest dreams? I don't even want to entertain the energy that it's not possible. But I know it's hard. So again, back to why we create community and we create an energetic movement, and we gather collectively with people who are doing the deep work and who are willing to face the resistance, and we motivate one another and we inspire one another. So it's not a singular journey. This is not something we do alone. This is something we do with one another. And yeah, it's not going to be easy because, you know, how many, I hear so many stories of people who their parents are like, oh, well, that's not going to pay the bills. That's not going to pay the bills, right? It's just these beliefs, but that's the conditioning speaking. That's not the truest, highest self within ourselves, because the highest self knows that we're infinitely creative, we're infinitely potential, but it's the ego and the fear that's speaking when we hear those thoughts that go against the revolutionary warriors that are paving their own way.
I think this. I can see you fought this through quite extensively, because you figure out that there's only one treatment for a person in such a journey, and that's a community, loving community in the background, because you will get so much of negativity and so much of blockages that by your own, you must be hell of a warrior to face these things all by yourself. But once you have some people with similar experiences, you can lean on a little bit from time to time. It just makes it a hell lot easier.
Well said. Yeah, exactly. And connecting with people who have done it before you, right? Like to learn from those who have walked the path already, and to walk humbly and learn from others. You know, in business, whether you're starting a business, you're going to need to learn from business mentors, someone who knows about sales and marketing and funnels and all that type of stuff. So we learn from those before us, just like our ancestors did, and they sat around and they shared stories and they taught, and the younger ones listened with humility and respect. So it's very similar in that way too.
Wow, that's a radical word to say out loud in the 21st century. Respect and humility. The internet will break down now.
Let's break it down, man.
But let's maybe first explain some of the younger viewers what the word means.
Would you do the honors for us?
No, I'm not that brave. All right. I think we get now a great picture of where you're starting, but I guess it's just, as I said, one of the elements. You follow so many elements in this corporate world to help people to overcome imposter syndrome, follow their dream, and make their project. It's just one of the elements that you're working with. Tell me, how should I continue the journey discovering you? Give me the next headline. Do my job for me.
Well, one of the ways that I found deep healing, and one of the things that I find that so many people, I think it's a universal thing, is the element of music. So I have a history of being a musician and loving music since I was a kid. And then I like I mentioned, I started sitting in ceremonies, and I started experiencing music in a whole different level in community by incredibly talented musicians. And especially when you're working with these unique medicines that can help you find deep healing, music is something that will transform and guide these experiences, can transform your life. It can uplift you. It can bring you into sad states even if you allow it. So I started playing music at a very young age, and then I stopped for a while as I was going through some rough patches in my life, and then I found my way back to my guitar and started working with songwriting. And I've always found that music is one of the most beautiful, inexplicable, magical gifts from the universe or spirit that has blessed us, because as you know, music is worldwide. Everyone loves it and connects with it. And what is it about that magical, mystical, ethereal sound that is so moving to humans? It's a mystery.
I will now make a lot of people angry now because I'm going to say something. I think how to say it to make as many people as angry as possible. I think one of the secrets why you're at all ready for community is because of music. Jamming with others, falling in tune. You cannot be an egoist when you play guitar with others together. When you jam, you need to harmonize in that harmony, right? And I have the sneaky feeling that this one strong element of you looking for community and being ready, maybe as a leader, never mind, but community ready is your music experience. So I'll try it.
You'll try it?
I try to make a prediction about you, not knowing you that much.
Yeah, that was beautiful analogy, by the way, the harmonization, because I've also heard this beautiful analogy too of if everyone just plays their note. You play your song, if it's in harmony, someone plays their note in harmony, and it creates this collective symphony of magic. So I love what you're saying. So it also weaves in so perfectly with what we were talking about, with people stepping into their unique divine calling, their mission of service, and they're vibrating at their beautiful sound and frequency while others are buzzing at theirs. And then together it's going to create a majestic orchestra of sound and change the planet. But I love what you're saying there. So that was well said.
Because we have a lot of world leaders who are actually good musicians. And if you look at them and how they did their politics compared to non-musical or not harmonizing persons, and that's what I wanted to say to provoke some people, but it's a waste of time. So there is something inherently good in harmonizing. It's a good deed. It's almost a religious moment when you with some people, never mind out there, the fire is burning, you take out a guitar, and it's not just romantic. It's as you said, I had it one guest and she said one night and she literally heard the stars. She heard the cosmic melodies, and she didn't know where it's coming, and it changed her life entirely. And she ever since is singing with the stars. And there is something so fundamentally in harmonizing. It's a practice. We've been doing it for thousands of years, that we were stomping with the feet, we clap the hands and we start to build a harmony. Beautiful.
Exactly. And I love how you're tying it back to the ancestry and the wisdom of how our ancestors discovered this too, and the sound and what it does. And I believe it creates such this vibration, and it's super healing. It's super healing to express ourselves too, which is also lacking in many cultures across the world, is the ability to express ourselves freely, to dance and sing and gather in community and release this energy of expression through us. And music and dance, I'd say, are two of the most powerful ways for us to connect and express ourselves and release trauma as well.
Wow, there we have something to talk about. I just want to say it's very popular now, looking into brain chemicals, oxytocin and all of this. Well, if you look here music and harmonizing, it's just a bombardment because you get recognition, you get group, so you get so many different, brain chemicals running all over the place. So yeah, it's truly a magical experience. But wow, now you said something about releasing through music. Well, there we go. Now we arrived at the podcast. Please explain.
Well, I think the way that our ancestors would heal in community and drums, dancing in circles and chanting, yeah, I think the release and the energetic release through the dancing would quite literally be healing. And you do that with a tribe of people, and you're all just there amplifying the energies of this rhythm of sound and movement, which is so incredibly healing. On top of that, I'm sure many people have heard how people will chant or make the Om sound. There's a trauma expert, his name's Peter Levine, who also teaches this exercise. It's basically the same thing that the ancient folks have been doing forever, and he teaches his clients to make this to sound vu. So by vibrating vu, the vagus nerve, which is a cranial nerve that runs through the body, and when our vocal cords are vibrating, it will stimulate the vagus nerve, which can activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which can help people move out of a state of sympathetic activation and help them bring them into a more calm, connected state. So vocalizing, sound, singing, like we were talking about, can actually have very powerful effects on the nervous system and promote a lot of relaxation and healing. So there's that element to it as well.
Absolutely, and it's so well established in the community, and it just always comes back out. It's just a fun thing I love about it. You always have it spiking if it's through chanting through the chakras, or if it's through the sound baths or whatever it is. It just it always comes back. It always comes back, and I think that in itself proves its power, because 8,000 years we're still doing it. So there must be something in it.
Yeah, for sure. Why do concerts get sold out and people just flock to see these incredible artists? They pay hundreds of dollars sometimes, or whatever the case may be, and they go to watch this person who can create this magical sound and creation with their instruments and their voice and their body. It's quite remarkable.
Do you see the divine spark in this people, or you see them they are just a very open channel? How you explain this? You look at the person as a person, or you just see them as an ultra vessel? What is your thoughts about that?
That's interesting. Maybe a little bit of both. I see the divinity within them, and also the human in them as well. That is, well, it's the human body with the spiritual connection, right? I think it's true for so many other gifts as well. Writing, for an example. Yeah.
Exactly. And so you have your work with helping people to overcome their imposter syndrome. You have this program. You're expanding the program. You have your ongoing music, your love for music. You make your own music. You make your sound. I should maybe ask: are you giving concerts? Is that where you want to go, or you just is more personal and intimate? How you see your path as a musician? But then I would also like to know: do you see ways to link it? Are you looking already ahead and saying this has to become a emulsive thing, that I want to do a workshop, I want us to sing, to dance, to talk? Are you already ahead of me?
You're ahead of me because you guessed it.
That's my job.
Well done, sir. Absolutely. Of course, integrate it all for sure. But yeah, so go back to what you're saying. So I'm yet to release any of my music publicly. So this personal brand that I've created is actually pretty new. So I plan to do that. I have a song already fully recorded, which you've heard, and and then I'm in the process of recording my second one right now, and I'm thinking in the next few months, maybe the very beginning of the year, I'll be releasing my first song, and then of course I want to incorporate that into my retreats and workshops that I host, where people can come together, and again, that community component, and that will be in person. So right now my work is one-on-one, but the retreats where we can come together and bring other musicians together and have really deep, meaningful healing experiences with amazing food, amazing people who are ready to, again, come back to that awakening and the leveling up of ourselves and our life of service to help humanity, and come together and have amazing, powerful experiences.
And I can feel it. I think the audience can feel it, and there's already people signing up because looking at your energy, your love, and the passion that you have, I think we all want to be there and enjoy, because there's so much retreat, and some of them are good, but a lot of them are, the commercial side always takes over at some point or the other. And maybe it's the way of the world that you do things starting from love, and you're starting it from all the right reasons. But then you got to pay the bills and you got to make things happen. And so it's always great when someone starts up, because the first couple of years, these are the legendary years that people will be talking over years. I was there the first, so people pay attention, write this down. This is the first coming up.
Appreciate you, man. I appreciate you and your energy too. Really fun.
I don't know. Thank you so very much. But is it true? Am I not right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I have this sneaky concept, because where I live in a city center, there's always a new restaurant starting a lunch buffet, right? And you just have to keep a lookout when again a new restaurant is doing it, because the first half a year, they're really putting great food on the table for the price ticket. And once they're full with lunch clients, the food is going down, but the price stay the same. So you always have to be at the beginning.
That's a good tip. Take notes, y'all.
That's why I look like this.
But what I'll say is the good ones, they'll keep the quality going.
Sure, for sure. But it's a real thing. I'm a businessman for so many years, and I've started so many things out of my heart. But then, we got more staff, and you want to do things more professional. You want to provide more comfort, and it doesn't matter that your quality is still there, but it just becomes a machinery, and usually it's quite successful and it's full with people, but I wouldn't call them the edgy ones. I've observed it, especially with restaurants many times, or new cafes. They start very edgy, and the cool artists are coming, and it's all full of juice. And then after time, the money people are coming and the artists are slowly going. It's still a cool place, but it's the way of the world. So I love when things are starting up, and it's this fresh, raw energy, when, things can be improvised or experimented. It's just a great place to be. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you. Exciting. A lot of life and vitality.
All right. That's so. I can't do more than that. If people don't get it, that they should come to you, then I don't know what to do. All right. We're not at the end of this podcast, but I think it's just a lovely moment, because people are now geared up. Would you be okay to play a song now, and then we have a bit of easing out chat to do? And for our audience, we have to switch microphones, we have to plug some cables. So please just relax, lean back with your coffee mug or tea or whatever it is that you're doing. And let's say thank you so much for Jon giving us his premiere, or sneak peek, or how we call it.
That sounds perfect.
Take your time.
canción de mis ancestros que lleva la visión purificando a mi sangre, purificando a mi sangre. Tan sagrado, un gran regalo ha llegado aquí, un gran regalo tan sagrado, un gran regalo ha llegado aquí, llegado aquí. It's an old drum from our grandmother's side. It keeps our heartbeat alive. Carries the songs from our ancestors' lives. The prayers that purify what we hold sacred. The purification of what's sacred. Tan sagrado, un gran regalo ha llegado aquí, un gran regalo tan sagrado, un gran regalo ha llegado aquí, ha llegado aquí. Him in the rhythm of her drum, her drum, where her heartbeat comes from divine one, divine one, gran regalo tan sagrado, un gran regalo ha llegado aquí, un gran regalo tan sagrado, un gran regalo ha llegado aquí, ha llegado aquí. Su corazón, el ritmo de su tambor es su tamborcito que lleva su canción, la canción de su almita. Bienvenida, Lunita.
This music is yours. You're a composer. You're writing text and everything. It comes straight from your heart, right?
Straight from the heart. Yeah. It's yeah. It's one of those things where it just feels like an expression of who I am, and happy and honored to share it.
And it's really beautiful. I mean, you know what you're doing, and it sounds super professional. So that's why I was sad that people don't get the full sound the way it should be to really know on which level you're doing things. But we will play it. This now, we can imagine now 6 minutes we played it. And so we can talk now after the song. Imaginary song.
Perfect. Let's do it.
And you have a group, you have a band, or you're building this up, or what are the next step? Going concerts you have planned for next year, or you're just still weighing your options? So what's the next step for you except the recording release?
Yeah, it's just me, the singer-songwriter style, and I collaborate with other musicians. One of my songs has a musician from South America and several spread throughout North America. So yeah, I love to collaborate. And if there's any medicine musicians out there that like my music and want to collaborate with me, holler at me. Let's make some magic. But yeah, eventually the future, I could see myself playing at festivals and different live venues and events. So right now it's just, let's just get the songs out there and play at some retreats. And then future, for sure, I have some beautiful visions of the music spreading.
Absolutely. You're going to work with a label, or you're going to self-publish? How is that these days? I mean, I'm a long time out of the music world. How is it going these days?
Yeah, I'm not too sure either right now. All I know is let me just take this step.
We're doing it, but we have the whole hell no idea how.
No, it's
Sounds
happening,
like
man.
my podcast. Welcome to the club.
That's
No,
funny,
that's when
man.
things are happening, right? People with a plan, they are doomed to fail. People who don't have a plan, how can they possibly fail, you know? All right. I think we reached the end of the hour, and there's so many more things going on, and I'm really so sad that this didn't work, but we'll play the song. The audience going to get the experience, even if I have to, and they can reach out, and please do come back when you start building those groups. I want to be involved once you gather the people and you have the fire and you play the songs and the energy start flowing, and because this is when things gonna take off, and that's for sure once you can multiply your energy with others. And I would love to also get your experience and your feedback from your own perspective. I would love you to come back and say, Phil, I had this workshop and I had this for the people there, and I could feel the energy, and you know, they gave me and I gave them, and this is how I felt. I would very much like to know how it feels to harmonize in this new way.
For sure. Beautiful. Well, we'll get you out to California one day too.
I'll be back. Nice to be back again in California. Well, Jon, thank you so very much. This was a great pleasure. All the information, so down there, all the links and everything, and looking forward to have you back and to share your journey with us. So thank you so very much, and I'm saying goodbye and good night maybe to my audience, and see you again soon.